Hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Travelers. Thank you so much for hanging on. Okay, I had to ground myself a lot. I'm still not fully grounded because when I go live, I often get fried energies and frequencies coming in beforehand, and I have to set the field and everything. And today was just intense. So that's an excuse today. Generally, I'm always late. You can always expect 10 minutes more at least, okay? That was my issue living in Germany. I didn't fit in very well. I always felt more Irish than German, if anything. Although we're multidimensional, interdimensional. So welcome to New Earth. We have landed, as far as I'm concerned. And I believe some agree. And we have really anchored and are activating our true divine blueprints plus upgrades, which is what this was really all about. And I'm going to try and tie in a lot of what is being downloaded right now and what I'm here to share. I'm just going to go free flow. My heart was about to explode just beforehand, so let's all take a nice deep breath. Clear the field. How are you all doing? I mean, not that the field is not clear, because we're getting crystal clear, diamond, crystal clear. Hello, Neil, my friend, Justin, Ruth, Ashley, Mike, Herman, I believe it's that way around. Mylene, Sabine, hello, Camille, Diane, Margaret, Tessie, hi, Shannon, Ronnie, David, now level up. Sorry, I don't remember your real name. I'm like, with names, I'm really bad. I'm glad when I can see you all and then put names to faces and all of that stuff. Sophia, Tommy. So anyway, thank you so much for joining and the patience and all of that, because I really don't want to be disrespectful. It's just how it is. Okay. So hi there. So we have landed on New Earth. Now we're all at different stages. Okay. Now the last 2 weeks have been extremely wild, if I might say so. I think what the fuck was a sentence I said a lot. Okay, to myself and out loud, because it was really quite tumultuous and a lot happening. For me, more on the internal planes. I know other people have been going through a lot of changes also externally, or they are building up right now, because it's certainly time for change. And what I see is that it's going to shift. I can already feel it today in the skies. Really amazing. Like the camera just didn't catch it. Like New Earth skies, literally being here and anchoring. And I always find the skies here where I am in Wexford Island. That's just kind of a little bit south, 2 hours drive south of Dublin, Ireland. Okay, next to the UK, next to England. Anyway, and the skies here are not like in Dublin where I used to live. And they are shifting now, so I'm very happy about this. And obviously also as we go through the dimensional shifts and the merging of all these different dimensional layers, frequencies, realms, we also see the shifts actually reflected in the sky. So more and more people are picking up on rainbow frequencies, because we are literally running rainbow rounds through the grids as we are activating our 12D plus blueprint, which is the divine human blueprint. And that's the core of what we've been bringing back. This is also what the sphere of Amenti is about. That's also much of what the Christos mission is about, and also tied in with the Elohai or Emerald Order mission. Now, I want to say, I know not everybody's familiar with these terms. At a higher level, I believe there is a resonance. We are very limited by words here in general. And I do use a lot of terminology, also my posts that come from Ascension Glossary, for example, and that's kind of rooted in type of spiritual teachings. I would call Ascension mechanics. And that just goes further into this biospiritual rehabilitation we are really doing here through us, through our inner work, and with all the upgrades we are receiving and all the fun we get to have with these ascension symptoms. So yeah, and there's a very high purpose to this, and the highest purpose you can ever serve, and we are serving here, is the upgrade and the rehabilitation, the healing work, the inner work. That's why we always keep talking about this, and everybody uses different terminology, and using certain terminology also activates you and your field. So that's also a reason why I use this. And I know I don't always explain it in detail what it all means. I would often refer to look up ascensionglossary.com. Now, this is a tool, it's like an encyclopedia, but look at it as like, what is it called, Wikipedia or something like this. And ultimately, but obviously there's one or two people who are behind this. But I always take what resonates and leave the rest. Yes. And I would implore you to do this with everything I say as well. That what resonates, also take it further, because as we merge the dimensional layers and levels and also our different identities, which is you have a soul, then you have an oversoul layer, then you have an avatar level, and then you have a rishi or an ascended master level, which is usually pre-meta, so not physicalized, and then you have source or the Godhead. So this is all merging as one, because we are merging with cosmic God source consciousness. We are remembering again we are God whilst we are in a physical form. And this is going even beyond what has been set out and what you see in Ascension Glossary and what many people have been prophesizing, and what we also understand, okay, under what Ascension is really about. But the core principles are really the same, and I do try to keep them as simple as I can, as well as bringing a higher language terminology in, but you don't have to understand it. You can employ it more if that is of interest to you. I have been led down many interesting paths on Ascension Glossary by clicking different highlighted words there, and they just trigger remembering. And this has helped me, because it was just part of my journey, to pick up the instruction sets and what I needed to do in order to reassemble our light body, and in order to bring these missions to completion, like playing my part. I'm not saying I'm doing this all on my own, by God, no. So, but this is just what I'm here to do, and then also to transmit it and share it with you, because these are the instruction sets for our ascension, as I believe, and they need to be shared. And this is also how they're being anchored and activated in the field. So, and it doesn't take that many people. And who I'm really speaking to is the 144, the core monad of the Godhead, the first physicalization, really the ascended master level. And we're all part of this. So this is not about hierarchy in any way, okay? And I don't really care for compartmentalizations. I don't care for ranks or who anyone thinks they are, even myself, but it gives us an idea what we're here for. And that's what it is about. And we use the language we have in order to describe this. But everybody has different terminology. They come from different ways. I think the paths and spiritual knowledge and backgrounds and gnosis. I believe a lot of people who are drawn to me, they're generally quite open-minded, because otherwise you would have heard things that tell you, oh, no, this is all wrong. So anyway, and the thing is, I'm not even saying that I have all the answers, by God, no, but I can just share the kind of high-level, big picture overview of what I'm here to do and what I'm seeing, and it's very much to do with the anchoring and activation of that original blueprint, because I know I'm here to carry that blueprint and template and anchoring these codes, and that's what I'm then sharing with you. And we all again do this, and we just have different levels of knowledge and responsibility, and we are all trying to figure out and remember, aren't we, me myself as well, what we're really here to do, who we really are, our true self. This is really what it's all about, because that is what is activating you out now, which it has. We have anchored and activated, or are activating it along with our DNA, because as those that resonate with being an indigo or a starseed, we usually have more DNA strands potential than, let's say, normal human beings. So we are a hybrid ET race. Again, that's how I see it. And but that really just includes special gifts and abilities. And for example, Indigo Ones have up to 48 strands, although this is all changing and expanding as well. And they literally have the blueprints for New Earth within their DNA. Okay, but this also means that we have a lot more to clear and upgrade, because we have parallel selves running around everywhere in all sorts of kind of different time vectors and timelines, much more so than the normal human incarnate with 12 strands, and now 13 to 15 activating as well, which is bringing in the connection to the Godhead fully. Okay, and this is also related to the Tree of Life. You might have seen a 10-pointed version of that, or 12-pointed. The 12-pointed is really the template we are working with here. And that's the core and the basis that stays the same. And I didn't do a pre-recording today where I can share visuals. So I'm not going to go into too much detail today, because I can't share on a live the pictures and graphics that would show you now the Tree of Life. Look it up, 12-pointed Tree of Life. I've shared it before on my page as well. But anyhow, so what this is about is us reclaiming and activating those higher DNA strands. And it goes way beyond 5D or just 5 strands of DNA. Most of us would have come in with 5 or 6 strands already active. They're just not fully powered up all the time. So that's also why we feel so discordant here, because we are not at the frequency coded that the planet has been on. And obviously there's been a lot of frequency interference and other things going on that are not making it so nice to live here, especially if you're a highly sensitive being and have more strands activated. So what we are doing now is full 12-strand DNA activation, and that's igniting now, because everything that has been hindering us from doing so on grid level, so planetary architecture level, and also from our own blueprint level, so our DNA and the fire codes, which I see upgraded with quantum time codes, because again, we're not just upgrading to the next harmonic universe, but also a new organic creatrix field, which is really beyond time and space, in a sense of it's very multiverse-like, as you would imagine the metaverse, but in a very organic way. So what we see, as I see it, really most of reality is 95% is not real as such, or it's been distorted and there's been overlays over it. And this is all fully dissolving now. All these false matrices, phantom matrices, and phantom pockets, and the dark magic grids, and I mean everything has been continuously dismantled. I've been sharing it over the last year or more in my posts what I've been seeing. And there are obviously other people as well who explain in their language, or everybody has a different perspective also of things and different wordings again of how to explain what's really going on. So I try to make it as simple as possible. But what we are really here to do is anchoring this blueprint, because as what's really helping the DNA and the higher DNA strands is actually higher forms of consciousness. It's all consciousness. And before it physicalizes, it's, sacred geometry. And that has been also altered and manipulated. But if we go really back, what I really feel this is all about, and what we're speaking about today mainly, is the Divine Union template, or Hieros Gamos as some know it, which is really what Ascension is all about. And this is also what Mary and Joshua were here for, because I believe their offspring was also there, which some call the Holy Grail. But what it really is that it's a lineage that held that blueprint throughout the ages intact, in order to now bring this to completion, to reclaim the stargates, which are the Tree of Life, which is also represented in our own morphogenetic field, in our own blueprint, in the light body levels that exist around our physical self. And the gray line was very much there in order to preserve the DNA for now to activate, and it's connected to the tree of life. So your blueprint of your light body level self that then is, instructing your physical self on how to materialize, basically. And at the highest level, it's all consciousness. So it's really, in a way, morals and ethics and how we think, the thought forms, behaviors, belief systems, and all of that. That's why this has been all about re-encryption of matter, and re-encryption of the consciousness, and then also obviously energetics. So there are many, many different layers and levels to it. This has been going on for a very, very long time, as many of us know. But then ultimately also there is no time. So it's quantum. And now this is all quantum completing as I see it. And the divine unions and those who connect with the twin flame term, they are really part of the core monad or the core gray line, the 12 tribes which hold these 12 DNA strands of the divine human. So when we talk about the gray lines or the dragon queens and kings, they hold what hold the dragons? The dragons hold wisdom. The dragons hold, and that's the memories that are returning. The memories returning of our true selves, of the golden timelines, that's what's activating them. And we're kind of sorting through all these timelines throughout all this time in our, extra dimensional work, and correcting all of this and sorting through them, and literally have been clearing out all that doesn't work. And we are keeping what works. And it's all kind of merging and melting in a big pot. And we're being left with the highest outcome. So the highest consciousness we could, as a one consciousness within the oneness, come up with. And that is instructing the new DNA sets, or basically upgrades, because where we were when we look back to Lemurian times, for example, or back in Lyra, before everything blew up on many different levels and layers and timelines, and always the same themes really repeated. What was I saying with that going? I know what I just said, but I can't remember where I was going with that. Okay. Anyway, so we're merging all of these realms and also the different versions of Earth. So Earth, Tara, 5D Earth, 7D Earth, Gaia, and 12D Earth, Aramatina or Lyra, or Ascension Earth. Again, these are terms that I can relate with. Oh yeah, the twin flame, I'll come back to that. Merging all of that as one Earth, as I see it. Okay. And so all versions of Earth, and that also includes inner Earth and parallel Earth. And we're merging all of our incarnation multidimensional selves into one awareness. That's what I see. All right. And this is happening very multidimensionally. So even expecting a solar flash or anything, it's really funny. The other day just went. There was such a huge build-up, and I can't remember exactly when it was. I think around the 29th. I felt I was about to explode, and then the next one it just went, and it was as if, okay, now we're doing something totally different or something like that. So I think even if a solar flash type thing happens, I think it will be a very peaceful thing, like a non-event, but literally waking up from a dream. That's what I'm feeling. Just maybe just everything become very light and crystalline. Who knows? We'll see. Okay. And I've never been shown that. I still not been shown that. I'm concerned with how do we get there. I mean, we're here now, ultimately, so I'm just having fun. But I also want to share about the twin flame story, because it play a very important role, because they're at the core of the 12 tribes, holding these blueprints from the masculine and feminine in order to have now combined the new Krystar SAphiRa blueprint. So they're holding one together as well as separately, because we're still in two different forms. And we don't necessarily, as a twin flame, need the divine counterpart to be physically with us or even connected with them, although it helps, in order to fulfill this. So some might have them in the astral. They haven't quite joined yet this physical plane, but they might be coming in now. And that can happen in many different ways. And again, it's like any really relationship. They come in many different shapes, sizes, and forms. So there is not one right thing. But I did wanted to say a few things on the purpose that they play, because it's more than what people think. And it's many different things, like everything here. We serve many different purposes. And I shared a video yesterday on my Facebook page, which also explains this a bit more. And as with everything, take what resonates, leave the rest. It's also an older video. But the important part there is that we are here to anchor frequency together. Because if you're in divine union with yourself and you've got your codes running and you come together with the other one, especially in the physical, you can run a whole lot of frequency and a whole lot of codes, and you can make a whole lot of magic happen. And they literally came to ignite new earth. But it's ultimately an inner happening that then materializes into the physical in one way, shape, or another. But this is so much about trusting what we are receiving within more so than without, because that's really our wisdom. Trusting our divine feminine. And this is what also again ignites new earth. We need to believe in what, kind of believing is seeing of what we're getting, because again, we carry these codes inside. It's like an inner movie strip that you have to ignite to then project out into your hologram. And we're doing this together. That's why we're also everywhere on the planet, like the little acupuncture needles, so we can really bring the grid online together. And the twin flames, again, are serving the important purpose of them having to collect all these codes. And then what happens is often the feminine, in the feminine body, you come in with more quantum. So you come more in with your multidimensional self already anchored. So around 66%. And the masculine comes in with around 33%. So they have a lot more to retrieve. This is also why they're taking longer. Okay. In a way, but ultimately it's all one and there is no time. So that's why we also need to transcend. And there's not even the feminine healing the masculine is as well healing the feminine. And whether that's happening in your physical life or at a more etheric astral layer level, you can all tune into your, divine masculine and energetic form. And for many, that's been happening, and that's really what the twin flame journey is a lot about. It's beyond the physical, because that's what we're bringing in. We're bringing in the higher dimensions. We're merging literally heaven on earth. But there's a lot that they have to anchor. So we have to transcend all these relationship templates, which is what a lot of the last few weeks have been about. So there's been a lot of being triggered between the genders and also the energies. So when I speak about masculine and feminine, it's mainly the energies. We all have this within, again, as well as this may play out with people in our lives. And it's been triggered by, but anyone can be this ultimately. And yes, at highest level, we are all twin flames, really. And in relationships, we always do pick up the keys and codes we need. So there's always a higher order to it. And we shouldn't be afraid of making these experiences. But many of us on the spiritual journey have been single because we don't just want anyone. There is, I think, this deep inner knowing there should be that perfect other, that kind of perfect puzzle piece where it's just very harmonic. And it's just, you just know when you know. And I think that's what the twin flame is all about. And I think I'm just really understanding that really now, more so than I thought it was. And there are many different ways also in that video. What it showed is that you can have different combinations of twin flames, as in somebody might feel like a twin flame, but they're not your perfect match in a sense. But there may be strong indications or reasons for you to believe that it is. And again, only you know, because I had people writing to me, and that's also why I wanted to share this today, because it's obviously in the air. And so how do we find out who it is? I guess that's an age-old question. And I really do believe the answer can be answered. The question can be answered by when you know, you just know. And even though you might have, some fears also rising, because that connection, if you make that, especially in the, in the physical, some way, not maybe there, but somehow some contact. And it's like, oh my God, I've waited for you all my life. And it's like, And also, again, because they trigger each other's templates, and they're also here to bring each other the missing quantum that they need. Because they're like the puzzle pieces. They're the electric and the magnetic. So the feminine is magnetic, the masculine is the electric. And together they, build the Merkaba and stargates, and they can, again, make a lot of magic happen. So they can anchor really high frequencies into the grids, depending on their coding and what has been activated. And again, they do this also for another a lot. And what I've been seeing is that love is so unconditional that it literally is sealing each other's templates. So each other's hearts, but also mind, because it's very much about a heart and mind merging, also at the planetary level and collective level within our own field. So they don't speak different languages anymore, and they don't disagree anymore, because we're trying to get the masculine, the feminine, the heart and the mind all on board, the right and the left brain. And that's what's happening right now. That's also what divine union is about. It's so interlinked with everything in this whole ascension process, because again, everybody ultimately helps you with that, a relationship, because people carry different codes that you still need. So whatever, triggers or, annoys you in another is usually a piece that you still have to integrate a little more deeply. I need to speak more slowly. So everybody's helping you to collect all these pieces of the one that you're still missing. So that's why whenever we get triggered, however hard it is, they're helping us. And especially in a twin flame journey, your deepest wounds will get triggered. And that's what we've just been through. We have just been through, at least for most of us. And I first could see the feminine heart healing with the help of the masculine. And then the masculine healing now over the last 2 days, today and yesterday especially, very strong. And we have a 369 code today. So, or 396. But it's very much connected to the rod codes that the masculine carries, and the time codes, which are also your vertical codes. Horizontal. That's the vertical. And these are the feminine staff codes, okay, when we talk about staff and rod. And this is very important just for your Merkaba to function properly. And it's also connected with the spin rate, okay? Now, what I see we are doing now, also with the pole shift, is, and I'm going to jump all over the place, so whatever comes in, I don't care, is that we're making, that's what I'm working on, our cell spin anti-clockwise. So, because we're locked in with our template also into the Earth's template, and that goes then upside down. And again, I can't show you a visual, but just trust me on this. But it's like as if you're locked in, and then if we go anti-clockwise, Earth would go clockwise, because at the moment it's anti-clockwise. And we need to spin the other way. Okay? So as we're working with our cellular structure, for those that can relate to what I'm saying now, but in some of my activations, I don't know if I do say, I probably do, as we're working with the cellular structure, also atomic, okay, you go down to your atomic level. So if you work with yourself, I implore you to go down to your atomic structure, okay? Everything held within the atom, and we're turning carbon to crystalline, okay? Now, the codes I've been given is, it goes from the 666 carbon-based blueprint of 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, to 13 protons, 12 electrons, and 13 neutrons, okay? And it's also very much connected to the 12-12 clockwise spinning of the masculine Merkaba, and the 13-13 spinning of the feminine Merkaba anti-clockwise, okay? And it's interlinked. And as they're joined together, again, we have in our own field the feminine anti-clockwise underneath, and then the masculine clockwise above spinning, and that's your macabre. And we've retrieved all the codes, so we are now spinning correctly. And these are the instruction sets for when I go down at atomic level, again, if this resonates, where I spin my atoms now anti-clockwise in my whole field with these instructions, okay? Always make the note, that's what I always do in all of my activations and in general, highest divine blueprints, okay? Because we're constantly also shifting and changing. Like what is sometimes right one moment isn't kind of right the next. Because it's the same with information. As you go up in dimensional layers and levels and you're merging all of this, you go through different, what's right one moment is no longer right as you go up in dimensional layer and sort through that layer of information, which is consciousness, which is your DNA strands that you're activating, ultimately. So as you're sorting through the programming, which is your thought forms and belief systems that you carry deep inside, usually in our unconscious, which is what is usually manifesting our lovely realities. That's where we have to go onto that level. So as we correct them, that's why we correct in our blueprints and then also realities. Because it's literally thoughts create matter, as in the deeply held belief systems is what projects our realities. But on a collective level and layer, we obviously have collective thought forms. And as we are born onto this planet, we are being born with all kinds of, blueprints and templates and miasms and ancestral stuff and all of that, lovely things that we get to clear here, which we have done now, pretty much all squeaky clean. So basically, that's what the twin flames are mainly here for. So that's also why a lot of us who are kind of connected to the core of the kind of core monad of the 144, and again, we're all part of that. This is not, we're all connected to that. That's why it's not about, am I part of this or not? We're all connected to that one consciousness, okay? So, but some of it just carry more DNA strands. They have more to clear. So it's a 24-hour job. Most of my day, I work with my field, the activations, and some of us can relate, and we do this to different degrees. And that's just a job in itself. And it is the job in itself. And that's the worth in itself, because where we are now at, nothing you earn or, job or I don't know, all these material things don't matter. I really don't. Because we are manifesting out of thin air, so to say. We are, where we're going, it's beyond money. It's abundance for all. And there is no lack. So we've transcended all of this limiting programming, and I don't even focus anymore on money. Although on that note, if you do want to give a donation, do feel free, because, until we fully shifted with the Supernova of the Heart event, all I do, just for explanation, people also who are new, everything I do is for free. And the important thing has been so freely available. So I don't have anything really to sell. Because that's just what I've been guided to do, to get us here. And I still don't have the new mission upgrades are coming online now. There's a lot coming in, and we're getting a lot of downloads, I think, of what we're here for and what we're here to bring. And we're getting a lot of clarity. So that's the job. So know your worth, literally just by healing yourself, especially men who have been usually measured their worth by society through how much money they earn or the car they drive or whatever else. That is totally out the window. And I know it's very, I can see how much the masculine has to reclaim in the keys and codes. And I could see what was going on in the field. This is so like the feminine is frustrated with the masculine and, what's taking so much time. And it's like, because the feminine can't do this anymore on her own. Like, she can't. She doesn't want to. And I'm not saying I'm speaking for all. This is also an inner thing. And ultimately, it's all integrated now. But also you want then, when you have integrated it, obviously a lot of us do want to have the divine relationships, which is what the twin flame yearning is kind of about. Because there is kind of something missing. Not that we are not because we do need to get to a place where we are happy in ourselves without the other person there. But the funny thing is, at a higher level, you will have already merged, if we've come to divine union, at an energetic level. And then they should pop up somehow in your reality. That's the theory, at least, okay? So that's what we're here for. And there are different types of twin flames, as in, there are also things like, because people mention false twins, but that's, again, something different. There are also things, like in the video it said, if you've been paired up with Draconians or Anunnaki and whatever. And I just want to say, we all have these DNA strands. I'm not a racist on that level. But yeah, I mean, as indigos or starseeds, we are, more drawn towards other DNA strands. And that's what the gender twins are also about. It's literally your genetic equal. So your attraction is very genetic, ultimately. Because it's like literally the, what is helping you to ascend as a whole, as the Trinity, because together it's like 1 and 1 equals 2. No, 1 and 1 equals 3 equals 1. So together you make up a third energy, because what you're really doing is a divine union with Source. This is what it's all about, and a divine union with life, all life everywhere. And this is what the journey really helps you to do. And again, everybody helps us do this, okay? By us retrieving all those pieces and no longer feeling separate from anyone or anything, because everything is consciousness and everything is part of you. The table in front of you, and I'm another aspect of you, of the one. But we're also sovereign. And this is also what the twin flames are bringing in. It's not as if they're depending on each other, although at an energetic level they are, because they are one. So they will always influence one another. But we all do this at a higher level, don't we? We are all one. We all influence one another. And just some people we are more closely connected to, again, at the soul level. And that's also what we're calling in, is literally our soul tribe, our soul family right now, as we are integrating all of these different pieces, and collectively the monadic identity, which is bringing in your soul monad. And that's where we really, because we do also are here for mission work together, not just on our own, but where we are no longer, influenced by even the closest people to us, so that we, change or have to change for them, or, wanting even to change the other person. Because as I said before, it's very much the new relationship templates about total commitment as well as freedom. It's where, you just support one another. It's like interdependence, because no one of us is an island by itself. This is about unity consciousness. And I know we all had to pull up our boundaries and our, have been kind of hibernating a lot in our little caves, because we needed to do that in order to gain that sovereignty and get to know our true self, which is then when you get to know God. But other people are also helping us, and we are walking each other home. And nobody's really doing this on their own, especially at a higher dimensional level and layer. So we are doing this, at a higher level, we are doing this teamwork, even if it feels we're doing this separately. Oh yeah, 144 is also 9. I haven't even thought of this month. So yeah, I mean, it's very much new beginnings, as well as endings, all wrapped up. But we are basically, we're there. We're here. How the rest plans out, I don't know. I believe we're still waiting for the ultimate supernova of the heart event, which is, I believe, it's us being able to deepen into that level of love, whatever helps you do that. And it's ultimately self-love. But that's the thing with a twin. Also, you have that divine mirror. And so far we had all these funny mirrors, isn't it? It's all been upside down, inside out, and it doesn't fit, and it's like, what's wrong here? And you're frustrated. And that's why, because you're not paired up with the right people. That's also been the karmic relationships. And again, they come in many different forms and ways. So it's been very much about finding out discernment, being able to read people, knowing what we want, what we don't want. And we have been making up all, the realities, our dream lives, literally, throughout all this time, as we've been working for our crap and we've been transcending and facing our shadows. So we come out squeaky clean, but not, perfect. And it's not about being perfect. This is not about some unachievable level of holiness, as I see it, that some may think or thought was necessary. That's the upgrades. Okay, what I think ultimately this whole shebang is about is, if you think about the angelic DNA strands and the divine human template, in order to keep that alive, if you think about the 12 tribes and all of that, you would have to keep, to a certain degree, in a sense, there was not inbreeding, but you can call it that, as in through cousins, just like the royal family would do a lot. That's also, I believe, they've been accepting more of the commoners into their family, because they cannot keep that going without your DNA getting also corrupted. So ultimately, we had to mix with other DNA in order to diversify and expand. That's how I see it, how I'm being shown this. So, but you don't naturally gravitate towards that other DNA. So we made up a story of invasions and hostages and rape and border children, which is very much what the Lemurian massacre was about, in order ultimately to mix these DNA strands for us to help them rehabilitate theirs, but also to improve ours. Because you cannot keep a certain level of perfection without it going the other way. Because what I see of draconians and reptilians also representing is our DNA strands digressed. So they're like your future self digressed, if you think quantum. So we're keeping some of that, but the rest goes. And it's the same for, we've been really calling in, this is a rehabilitation project of those races that have lost access to the 12-strand DNA, because it was cut at 10, which is what the Tree of Life with 10 points is representing. The fallen Tree of Life, that's what that is. So we have been rehabilitating it, which is also connected to the 11th and 12th Stargate, which a lot of my English-Irish friends also, we have been working on. And that has been going very well. And also the reclamation of the Lion Stargate and the Giza passageways and Ark of the Covenant and halls of records. And it's all interconnected really with the memories. That's really what it's all representing. It's us activating the DNA strands, which is the memory of those golden timelines, what we're keeping, what we no longer keep, okay? Rehabilitating everyone. And that brings literally New Earth Online, the new organic creatrix field, through our DNA, happening any moment now. I do believe the sun will have a lot to do with it, ultimately, because this is what's activating our DNA. And that's what's happening a lot over the last 2 weeks. So now it's all unlocking, a lot of downloads, okay, ultimately held within, but they need to be activated, which is what a lot of the solar energies are doing for us. And we also do this with one another. So as we are now being able to connect to the right people, because we have cleared out all this karmic shit and learned our lessons, okay, we can connect with the right people, because you do not actually want to come together with the right people before it's time, because then you have a lot of, there's just a lot of energy that gets generated between people highly coded and that are, soul family. So you activate each other highly, but there's also obviously, crap that can happen, as we know, sort of love and hate are very close to one another in that sense. So, but, in a different way, but if you know what I mean. So we wanted to obviously learn how we can be mature emotionally and mentally, and now to come together fully sovereign, fully knowing who we truly are. So when we come together with these other really powerful people, we are no longer feeling less or more than they are. We are fully equal. That's the unity consciousness, which we are birthing now through the divine inner union, where we unify with all of life everywhere. That's the oneness. That's the Holy Trinity. That's your masculine, feminine, married to God, literally. Hieros Gamos, all one. Because again, the original would be, it's like mother, father, God. It's not masculine, feminine, it's one. Okay, and that's what you hear representing. And we're reclaiming those cosmic divine father and mother blueprints. So as I see, we're pretty much done. And we're just waiting for the perfect now moment for all the fireworks to go really off. But I mean, I can feel the celebration. I can feel it's pretty much all locked in over the last week, the highest quantum possibilities. And it's, you know, we've already lifted off and landed now on your Earth, in a sense, in that sense. So, and again, also the twin flames, again, they activate one another, they activate new Earth and these new divine union templates, and literally have these ascension keys and codes, and also the Edenic and paradisian keys and codes within them. But again, you don't necessarily need your twin in order to bring in divine union for yourself, you know, physically. So try to you know, go beyond the physical in general, because again, we are here to bring this in to literally change realities all around us. We're literally shape-shifting reality and matter. Also through the plasma re-encryption, but it's like our eyes are adjusting. That's also the blurriness, and a lot of obviously the third eye upgrades and the whole galactivations, which is our third eye in the mouth of God, back of our heads. A lot of throat activations. I actually need some colloidal silver here for a moment. So as we learn to speak lovingly in balanced ways, we get throat upgrades. So, and headaches, and the heart might explode. So, and on the back of the heart. So yeah, I mean, you know, as with Ascension symptoms, it's been fun. Not so bad now, but especially the last few days, these upgrades we've been receiving over the last 2 weeks have been, you know, they need to be like, especially DNA upgrades, they actually, you know, make your body feel quite achy, because it's all, we're also clearing all the reversals, lower codings from the hybridization traumas, because yeah, okay, it's kind of, you know, on a higher level, we've made all this up, but still, obviously, there's trauma from all the invasions and all that has happened. And that's what we've been healing now, really. And I mean, there's so many layers to it. What I've been really seeing the last few days was going down to the core, to our, you know, the separation from source, because that's what comes really as part of divine union, is our constant feeling separate from other people. For example, with my daughter, I had to make that whole experience of, from being kind of a, you know, super attached to her and not wanting to let her out of my sight sort of thing. Not out of my sight, but I wouldn't like to just leave her with people. I was, you know, kind of, I once said no to a paid holiday to Maui because I couldn't bring her, so kind of thing. And she was 4 at the time, maybe. But anyway, and then to kind of leave her with her dad, because it was the best thing to do at the time, and it still is. But it was the hardest thing. I never thought in my life I would bring a child into this world and not be with her and be there to fully raise her all the way, you know, all the time. But there was also a lot that had to be healed, and a lot of us, also the feminines who have children, and I know that the story has been shared, you know, with many others who've not been with their children the whole time of their lives. And, you know, a lot of heartbreak, but this was also down to us, because the feminine holds the proton seed and really the source codes. It's based within our mitochondria that also the kingship would go over the woman. So we hold kind of the grail codes and the Templar also for the planet, and the lineage gets kind of birthed through us, but then we also hold these codes within our field. That's why we were attacked on that level, and that's why they needed the codes. So we hold kind of the source codes on that level, but obviously you need the masculine codes as well. But just to explain that, as in the mother-child bond on a DNA RNA level had to be really healed. And this is what a lot of us have been doing with these really hard stories. I mean, literally just until I think I let her go now the other day. Every time, you know, I see her and then she goes back to her dad, I would go into depression at least for a little while and cry my eyes out. And just this time it was okay, because we're finally transcending these feelings of separation when we're not physically with people, although we want to be. And we still miss them, you know, every day. We would prefer to be with them. But we also know it's okay the way it is, because ultimately there is no time and we're always connected with the people who are really close to us. And the same with when we feel alone, and we have never really alone. We're all connected, especially to our soul family. And some of them are also off planet. So it's, it's already here. I've seen the divine union already between the divine masculine and feminine. It's already done. And they bring and anchor really high rainbow frequencies, the full spectrum of the 144, which is the full subharmonic strands of the subharmonic strands of the 12-strand DNA template blueprint, which we brought back, which is what the Christos mission was all about. So again, the lineage holding these DNA codes, and we all, you know, ultimately part of this. You know, especially those listening in those tribes that come from that core, they all hold these different DNA codes, okay? And different, so they would also hold, if people know about the emerald tablets, which have now been returned to the rightful owners. And they are unlocking within our DNA. So us remembering what really happened and who we are and all of that is really us returning that knowledge to humanity, because it's activating in the grids and the crystal networks. The sun disks are also connected to that, because this is not about us sitting down and learning a lot of complicated material. Ultimately, we're here to remember it. But yes, we do sometimes are drawn to these materials because they trigger memories. But again, there's so many different layers of truth, and we need to realize nobody here had 100% of truth. It just hasn't been able to, because we haven't had the DNA strands activated. Because it's held in our DNA. So you can't project the real truth into your reality with the, you know, without the DNA strands fully activated down here. That's how I see it. That's why you need to always take what resonates and leave the rest. And the higher up you go, yes, the more resonance, the more truth. But that what is not truth, the reversals within the materials, is what is tricky. And you do not want to get lost in separation and the us versus them and angelics versus the fallen angelics kind of storylines, because they hinder you from your real ascension. They keep you in compartmentalized mindsets, they keep you in separation. And it's not really helping you. So you need to know how to process information and take what resonates, leave the rest. And especially now, as I've been saying for a long time, to, you know, keep being open-minded and being able to, just keep an open mind to what is truth. And there have been different layers of truth, and it's activating within us now. So we're really remembering. So it's not so much of you taking in information from the outside, but more going within in meditation, or being silent, just, you know, less distractions when you have time to really retrieve that knowledge. Because that's how we do that. And there's a lot unlocking right now. So, you know, for those that it resonates with, they know what I mean. And I think I'm not even going to go through my notes. Actually, my throat is hurting. So I don't think I'm going to do much longer. Let me see. Is there any questions? Because I'm not going to go for all of that now, I think. But yeah, we are, Shannon, thank you. We are collapsing the entire, you like my little note keeper here on a multidimensional level, thanks. We are collapsing the entire universe back into the void of the 0 point field and surrender to source. The infinite only truly knows. The sooner we surrender, the faster our heroic probabilities align. Oh my God, yes, that's it right there. Okay, out. Mic drop. So yeah, it's basically we are collapsing the quantum wave function through the 0-point field. And that's where I see the masculine and feminine now going. So what we've had a lot between any kind of relationships, and it's been the old relationship templates which don't work, is plagued with gender divide, gender war, competition, jealousy. It's codependency, victim-victimizer games, all that beautiful stuff, okay? And that's what we're transcending now. And a lot of what also the twin flame thing has been about, because there's always this energetic dance that's happening, and again, happens in any exchanges and with everyone we're connected to, where if one side pushes, the other one retreats. So, and we have this in anything, so post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms are like the freeze, flight, fight. All right. And a lot of the time, and I posted about this Cherokee proverb the other day, it's like, so the highest, purpose of a woman is to lead the man to source. Not that he can't get there himself. This is not what this is about. But it's just lead him to a higher consciousness, okay? And open him up in his heart and be there for support on that, especially emotional level. And the masculine's highest calling is to, make sure she is safe, which happens in many different ways. It's a thing to really, not about that she does need someone in order to physically protect her as such, although that may be the case at some point, where we're getting away from that we are in any kind of physical danger here. But you get me, but it's more an energetic thing, okay? It's making her feel she doesn't have to do it all on her own, and many other things. So, and the lowest would be at a woman's level to drive the man crazy. Isn't that what often happens? And it would be with, nagging, asking too much, wanting too much from them. I don't know. It's just this kind of that energy, okay? And I can't really put words to it. And then they retrieve. So it's this kind of, also what the woman maybe wants to fight, and then the other person wants to just run away, okay, and hide. And what's the other option for the men, for example, to do? If you are confronted with that energy in some way, shape, or form, then to retrieve, the only other option would be fighting back, which would be the lower form of the masculine, which would be using his energy or anger or power in a physical sense over her in order to, dominate her. So we're getting away from all of these games of imbalances of, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not getting it all right within the words. I'm just transmitting this energetically. As in, where we all hold all of these aspects. And we have very much, many feminines had to be more in a masculine energy, many masculines had to be more in a feminine energy in order to retrieve these energies and unify them within. So we now can come back into our more feminine receptive and masculine more active energy. But we are both of these things. And there are times when we're more active, when we're more receptive. You know what I mean? So it's us though also coming together with people where we can harmonize these energies together. And this is what happens within twin flame relationships, where you just have that very great harmony and you amplify each other's harmony, again, times 3, than what you carry on your own. Where in the old relationships would have depleted each other's energies by that whole game of, push-pull and victim-victimizer and narcissist and codependent and all these patterns that we carry and display with different people at different times. Okay, and these are just highlighted more in, twin flame relationships or, but karmic relationships, I mean, they're, worse on a whole different level. You know what I mean? So different relationships do different things for us, but the twin flames and any relationship, again, have been very much about the ascension journey, and they're really here to activate the grids in New Earth as they come to divine union within now and with each other. That's in whichever way, shape, or form that's happening. Because I know we activate one another on a physical level in a whole other way. But ultimately, again, we're transcending time, space, and gravity through that. So I'm feeling like, is it a both and event? Where both happens at the same time. You're like all of a sudden all together at a party. sort of thing. And it's like, in a sense, you know what I mean? As in, like, as the event happens, we are being brought together, or does it happen in stages? I mean, we'll find out. I don't know. I haven't seen. Again, I'm just sharing what I've been given. I just wanted to share these few things about really what I believe the twin flames are about, because there's been a lot of shifts as well, and a lot of people have been wondering, is this the right twin flame? Is this not? I hope I answered that question. Ultimately, only you know, as with everything else. And when you know, you know. So, and obviously still, you might still have wonder or fears or whatever coming up, because again, these are all relationship templates lately that have been clearing, and at the core is the separation we feel from one another and from source. So as I had to overcome that separation I felt with not being with my daughter, I now don't feel it anymore, because ultimately it's all within us, isn't it? So we're now able to feel in divine union with everyone. We don't need to have them with us. Okay, we don't no longer feel separate. So we don't need to run away either. And we will be able to talk about our differences to come together in harmony and balance and co-create together beautiful things, because that's what we're here for. And alone we can only do so much. And it's about unity consciousness. So it's about soul family coming together, and together again. We basically blow up the grids in a sense, not blowing them up. That's not what we want to do. But that's one of the things. If the twin flames also would have come together too quickly, although they couldn't really properly, at least in divine union, before having transcended and cleared all of that programming, they have the potential to blow up the grids, because they hold so much frequency, especially the core monad of the 144. So this is also why this is taking so long. This is all, divine co-creation. Obviously, everybody kind of needs to be in place, and it's not just about us either. The rest of humanity is also part of this. So yeah, Diamond Sun DNA, activate now. That's where we're at. Now, I wanted to do some kind of activation, but my throat is telling me no, I might just do tiny little light language 1. Yes, exactly. And that's what the divine masculine and feminine are doing. They are source as one. They're mother, father, God incarnated here. That's the blueprint we are carrying. But no, it's not like we are, again, we are merging heaven and earth. So it's not just being heavenly and super perfect, whatever that even means. Okay, there are many variations, but we come from a pure heart. You cannot activate your higher blueprint without a pure heart and a pure mind, quite frankly. This is what it's all about, the consciousness. So you cannot activate these higher blueprints without the consciousness shifting, which is why we talk and share so much about this, because it all helps, all part of the re-encryption. But it's really anchored now, and it's going online. It's already happening. That's why I had to also do my own healing. I had my own core wounds of abandonment coming up. And did I share this now? I can't even remember. Last bit. So, but I had really my masculine energy come in and really help me clear the distorted masculine template within me that I was holding, that was kind of attracting the distorted masculine throughout my life to me. Not that all my exes are distorted masculine. I'm not saying that, okay? I didn't do so bad with most of them. That's not what I'm saying, but it was being held within me. So kind of my own abusive masculine who doubted me and didn't see me or hear me or, this or value me, or was protecting me or keeping me safe. Like there was still some in there, like a core template that I could then release. And then through the love of the divine masculine, I was then able to really integrate the divine masculine template within me. So that's what I've been experiencing as I was doing, dropping into some self-healing mode. And then that energy showed up for me etherically. So, but that can also be connected to a person. That can just happen etherically. You might be, with someone in divine union that happens, or you do it consciously with one another. It can happen, I believe, in many different ways. And then I also saw yesterday it happening with the masculine, and the feminine is doing this now for the masculine and healing his heart and his mind. and both unifying as one, because this again is what it's all about. And that births the Holy Trinity, the no blueprint. We're literally birthing ourselves, our divine inner child, our divine innocence, okay, our original innocence again. And we are all of these things. And this is not about the feminine leading, although it's the heart leading in a sense, but it's a feminine within us all, okay? But it's about total equality between the masculine and feminine, because this really needs to go, that imbalance, okay? And sometimes the feminine will lead and sometimes the masculine will lead, but they both need to agree, because that's what it's about, that the mind and the heart agree and are in union, in harmony, and can co-create together. So yeah, because there's a lot of fun to be had. It's the inner child now being rebirthed with New Earth. That's really the fun and the joy coming up, and I can feel a lot of adventure as we are, integrating and activating the DNA codes, and all the memories are coming back now, and we're going to be projecting New Earth onto the screen, whichever way this is happening now. It's already happening. That's all I'm seeing and feeling. We've been merging with that dream time, walking in a lucid dream. This is you tuning into what's coming in online from inside of you. That's you activating New Earth. That's why you need to trust that more than whatever's going on out there. I have totally clicked out from any kind of 3D, kind of knowing what's going on. I just want to really connect to organic. Of course, we use social media to tune in with the tribe and do our work, but otherwise it's nature, and I'm not really interested in the rest, people and nature, the organic part. But we're really calling in. It's not about escapism. It's about unlocking New Earth from within, and then knowing that that's what we're here for, okay? And that's what every thought, word, feeling, belief, action we take, all of this is this. And again, it doesn't matter what you do, what you have. A lot of us are, have not much to their name, and it's about now. I'm just totally at 0 point. I'm like, whatever. Like, it's just total surrender to divine will right now for many of us who cross the finish line and have now healed their heart. And it doesn't mean that we don't have anything more to heal, but do we resist? Are we afraid? Are we afraid of love? Because that's the thing. So what causes a black heart affliction? Is us closing down from love, of being afraid of getting our heart broken, breaking other people's hearts. We've learned we need to believe in ourselves, okay? Doesn't mean we get things all right all the time, but really, the worst is behind us. We have learned, okay, I just know we're there. I just know. And that's where the fun starts. And relaxation right now, really important at a deep level for your body to fully heal and rejuvenate. Very important to relax your body as much as possible. So literally, again, at a cellular level, literally, and drop into nothingness. Let your atoms dissolve, okay? Just become totally weightless, totally into the nothingness. That's you dropping into the oneness. I love that space. It's my favorite space to be. So I'm very good with that. I need to figure out my individual self more. So it's all about drop into the oneness, merge with all that is, until you find no more separation within you. And whatever needs to happen right now, still for you, that gets you there, that's what's going to happen. But know that healing can be very quick, and just open yourself up to it. Like, we all have feeling abilities. You can all ask Source to, help you heal your higher self. We all have healing hands, okay? And connect with your intuitive wisdom right now, more so than me telling you what to do or techniques or learning something new. That's all about us also, because the more you trust yourself, what you get, your intuitive way of doing it, that's what's really activating it. You believing in yourself and your gifts and abilities, that's what's activating it. Float in the void of the Earth's crystalline core. Yes, so the crystalline core, very important, also part of the pole shift, which is also very much what the masculine and feminine shift right now is about. And I could feel the pole shift again today. And it's all one, as I see it. Supernova of the heart, that's really also what the crystalline core is about. It's about a magnetic core shift and us shifting back to supermagnetism, that brings online also the 13th dimensional diamond grid system fully, and that's connected to our 12D tree of life coming online, quantum tree of life, really it's beyond 12D. And that activating in our field. And I very much believe we are each other's keys in order to bring this fully online and open up our hearts up wide. This is all about the heart, obviously also the mind, again, in unison as one. But the heart is the key to ignite this all, the machine, okay? The heart twinning, that was also part of the post of the video yesterday on the whole twin flame thing, because you have a thing that's called heart twinning, and then it's also crown twinning, because also on a inner level, the crown and the third eye become one, because the third eye is the masculine principle and the crown the feminine principle. And then your soul star is kind of creating your new sort of higher crown. So anyway, this is unifying, you see, within your light body, as well as the right and the left brain unifying. And again, heaven and earth, and also matter and antimatter, as it is within that divine union that we then see, you know, at a lower kind of dimension level playing out as relationships. Do you see? So you have all these different levels that are interacting and are all interlinked. And it's kind of all happening within the quantum right now. That's what I'm seeing. So, any moment now, our hearts shall fully ignite. It's like what I've been shown years ago was like as if you have two galaxies coming together or two stars and they crash, and it's like pew, that kind of supernova effect. All right. And that's again also the heart twinning very much. That happens between the masculine and the feminine as that gets activated and they activate each other's codes. That then also causes kind of fire in the kidneys. It's a triangle that builds between your kidneys and your heart. And that burns off all the rest of the karmic residue. That's also why it's so important to right now just relax your body at a deep cellular and atomic level. Dissolve into the nothingness. Just really, really relax. And just see any remaining residue, any density, any miasms, any black goo, anything that you might see, any lower negative energies, frequencies, and vibrations, and just see them effortlessly kind of sifting out, because you have little merkabas spinning in your every atom, turning it from carbon to crystalline, okay, with 13 protons, 12 electrons, 13 neutrons, anti-clockwise, and they're just sifting out any remaining lower density, frequencies, vibrations effortlessly. Just see it just falling out from your field, just really effortlessly, and become weightless. And see your heart, your mind, your blood, fascia, skin, your bones crystallizing, activating the neural pathways of light, responsible for our awakening to the highest potential, neuroplasticity, and the divine template of the 144 plus 3 as 1. Activating this, the triple diamond sun body, the new template of the 72 strands triple helix DNA. That's what we are activating for outer grids, the new grid system. And it's happening all the time now. Quantum. No more time, people. Total surrender. Total surrender, 0 point field, total neutrality, total love. No more needing, no more wanting. Although you can feel that too, but it's total, just a total relaxation, and you just know everything is coming to you. Because that's the thing. If you don't, you know, it's whenever we want something really bad in a way, or like just, you know, desire something, we kind of push it away energetically. So as we totally let go in the 0 point field, it just comes to us, because that's also the part of the supermagnetism of our divine feminine within that now draws everything we want to us. And ultimately, it's always, we know what we need to know in every now moment. If you knew it all at once, you would be crazy. And it's again unlocking from within us, and just trust that. You just need to also make time and space to listen to it. And my throat chakra is a bit croaky today. I do very quick, teeny tiny light language, just really for the field. Sunayena kera shukuntatara satara teana ke ea anasuna yena shuturata kenantena era ea uya manantea ke kurasho ayata anananaye unosunutunutarasha kaya ea kesaratata kunananena senanate unayena ushunantaya ke enayana sunataya na ke natana sao uyunate enanata tu enana senatara sata uyenana ayena sanekenata kukunutuye enona saye te uya kanasha te ea ke era sura shatara natea ka ea sata ea nuna e sura sha ea ka nana e sura sharane enantara sata yamanana ea se ea nenanata toya kia suta shena ea kara umanana eake tatayana sena teake kokuna te astatena tera sata shukuna teake karate enatanata una enane esonata eanana ue esukara shatara satara satara sa kekunate kekena sheta ekeneka unana ea una ea unana ea una sara sharare ea nanana nuna saira toya nena seata tokunate sa anata atara. Now, little buttercups, let that be it. My throat needs a break. I don't know what's going on. It really started as I started the video. So anything else will have to be another day if anything else needs to be transmitted. Thank you guys, everybody. Today was intense. Yeah, I'm just really relaxing into everything. I feel the intenseness. It's like an undercurrent. But generally, I can feel the shift on such a nice, deep level. And the peace and the balance that's returning and the harmony, because it's, again, that's also another thing. Us being paired with the right people, it's harmony that we're creating, because we're also the DNA strands, but they carry a sound and light fields. Okay, so before we physicalize it, sound and light. So the music of the spheres, which is also the divine blueprints, is us, again, when we have the idea of an orchestra, if the right people who know how to play the tunes and the instruments sit in the orchestra all together, the same tune, that's the harmonic. That brings fully online the blueprint of New Earth. And it's also connected to the plasma buffer shield, which is taking over from the artificially manipulated magnetosphere. So see yourself, hi Lucy, see yourself as a big, diamond, shimmering diamond, okay, crystallizing from the inside out. Your heart is your source, and from there, just out into your field. It's no more being afraid of anything, okay? And I hope I even mentioned everything I wanted to say today. I think I probably haven't, so whatever. But just keep working with your DNA, keep connecting to the sun, keep connecting to nature, earthing, especially with the magnetic shifts, and then all the solar energy. We should have a lot more solar flares and geomagnetic unrest or storm conditions. So it's going to be interesting the next couple of days, as usual. But yeah, let's keep shining brighter and brighter, rising higher and higher. And you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. So always listen to yourself above all else. That's being fully sovereign. And retrieve those inner keys and codes within. Okay, all ignited from there. So thank you so much all for being here. Again, any donations underneath in the comments box or the description box of the video are the donation details if you can. Thank you very much for your support in all ways of anyone doing the work, also liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting on my posts, and as I said, the donations. Thank you so much for all your support. We wouldn't be here without one another, quite frankly. So whatever brought us here, thank you, thank you, thank you. It all has served a divine plan, and it's going to play out pretty beautifully now, okay? And we're here to co-create that and make that happen. So keep listening to your guidance, all right? Knowing when to do and when to be. Be at ease, take it easy. It's all a show, and don't take it personally. That's the best tip. And surrender. That's it. Thank you very much, everybody. You rock. I love you. Infinite blessings. So much love from my heart to yours. So open those hearts and fly. Okay. Bye.